Hello and welcome to the 18th episode of Women of the Subcontinent. And today we have a very special guest with us, joining straight from Vancouver. She's none other than Rachel Viccaji, and we are waiting for her to join. And there was some technical issues, is why I logged off and joined again. I hope she can join this time. And as you all have, Rachel is not an unknown face in the subcontinent. Everybody knows her. Fans of Coke Studio, you guys have all seen her there almost every season. And uh, पंकज जी, today we are going to talk to हम लोग रेचल विक जी से बात करने वाले हैं. You have seen her in even in Kinare, and she's sung one a very amazing track in Coke Studio as well, Ki Dam Dam Bharosa Yaar, which is my absolute favorite. So I am just waiting for her to join the live. Hello Keval, hello, yeah. Hey Rachel, I can see you, yes, now. Thank you very much, Pankaj ji.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello,
how have you
hello.
been?
I am
Hello and
good. How are you?
good morning. I'm so glad that you could wake up and
Ye-
join. Yeah,
Yeah. How have you been? Let's wait for a few people to join before we get started.
exactly,
And
exactly. There were some people joining in the I just logged off just to be able to talk to you. Uh,
yeah,
I
I'm
don't have the laptop,
so.
it's knocked off, so everything is.
Oh, you can do this from your laptop? I'm such a noob. I like, I'm like
No,
trying
I
to
can't.
balance
I
my
can't.
phone right now. And
But in case, my laptop knocked off, so at least I can type some messages there on Facebook in case, you are late and just to coordinate the time. But this
uh-huh.
time it's all on the phone, so I have to kind of get away from Instagram and then again log on to Facebook to kind of, or
Mm,
WhatsApp to send messages. So, yeah. So, how have you been, Rachel? How's
good,
Canada?
good. Just trying to shift my schedule as opposed to sleeping at like 3, 4, 5 a.m. I'm trying to bring it back closer to midnight or 1. You know how it is. Sometimes
Oh
your
my God.
timings just they just shift and then it's hard to bring it back.
Very difficult. And you know that the body clock, that's the same problem with me. I sleep around very late. So,
Hmm.
but it's not good. Eventually, it takes a toll on your voice. And I hope the
Definitely.
connection is okay. Yeah, Rachel? Is the
Uh,
connection fine? It's coming
I can
clear.
hear
Sometimes
you.
it's kind of, there's
Mm.
a, okay. But can you see me clearly?
Yes, I can see you.
Can
You
you,
let me know
okay, a
if
lot
my
of your
video.
fans are joining in.
If
No,
I'm
no, it's
if
it's 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 fine.
Okay. Well, you guys let me know because
It's
then I'll switch to my mobile internet. That might be better. Let's see.
right.
It looks like you
Sometimes
have
it's
one of those film star fans blowing your hair right now. I love it.
oh, it's the fan because Rachel, my AC is not working and it's COVID over here. So I mean, people are not allowed in the apartments, so I'm not allowing in. So I have the fan, and that's why all the
और ये
the
हाल
hair
देखें
is
दूसरी तरफ
the fan is on full
hoodie
speed.
and
Oh God, like like
completely different
complete North
polar
Pole and
opposite.
South Pole. Yeah, completely polar opposites. Exactly. So,
Seriously, क्योंकि
yeah.
अब
So should
yeah,
we? Huh?
not only is there a 12-hour difference between me and my family and friends, temperature में भी इतनी difference आ गई है. It's raining. It must be like 10 degrees right now, 10 degrees
Yeah.
centigrade.
So what?
Um,
Because Karachi and Mumbai's weather is almost the same. What difference do you think is? I mean, Vancouver is cold, obviously, but does it make a lot of difference adjusting with the temperature because you're a vocalist and, when we travel, sometimes we do have these adjustment issues with like drastic change of weather. Uh, so how is this,
Oh,
how are you
definitely.
coping up with that? Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I haven't been singing a lot lately, but I'm one of those people, when people see me on the street, I'm dressed for winter. Everyone beanie and a scarf and everything, and other people
Mm-hmm.
are some people are even wearing shorts in this weather, and I'm like, wow, that must be, a
Yeah.
really being adjusted to
I
the
think you
weather.
might need a, yeah, I think you might need like a year to adjust to like
Mm.
adjust to the weather, the
Hmm.
change,
I see people are
maybe.
joining.
Okay.
Hello,
Yes.
Priyanshi, Sarah, the owl, have joined.
Haha. Yeah, a lot of people are joining in. So, kind of, let's start then with since people are joining it, they've started joining in. So
Sure.
Rachel, I want to go back to your childhood and tell me like how was the atmosphere in your family and how did music happen? You and your sister both are great singers, and how did that
Thank you.
happen?
Um, well, I mean, my mom used to play the guitar and sing a little bit here and there. My grandma used to sing a little bit as
Wow.
well. My dad wasn't really a singer, but I think when he was a kid, he tried to learn how to play the violin. But the biggest, I think, influence came from my mom and her friends because they had the kind of group that they would have dinner or go to the beach. Someone would pull out a guitar, someone would start
Hmm.
playing the piano, and everybody would sing.
Wow.
So that sort of jam atmosphere, and it was always covers. It wasn't, jamming originals or trying different things, but it was just so festive and so communal, and it's quite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah,
Exposed,
there
I
is
guess,
a
to
little bit
music,
of buffering happening
and
in your in.
there is. Let me.
It's still yeah, yeah.
This is better.
Just tell me what. Yeah, yeah. I think this is better. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, it is. It is. It
awesome,
is certainly. Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
now
So
I've
it
gone
was
off
more of a
Wi-Fi. Hmm.
communal thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were
Mm-hmm.
saying that it was more of a like a community,
Yeah.
communal thing for you. Yeah. So
Yeah. And I guess
that's how it
then,
happened.
yeah. And I mean, when I was in the church choir for a bit. It wasn't a very extensive, professional choir, but we were young kids, and we would sing all the hymns, um, and that was also fun. Then I think in junior school we may have had some, music, not music classes, but I remember there was a teacher, Miss Deborah, and she would make us sing, all the songs with the actions and, I'm talking
So
about.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But did you learn to play any instrument when you were like very young? No.
Still haven't. I mean, I tinker around with things, but Sharmistha, I think that's one of my biggest regrets. And it's so funny you say it, and then 10 years later, you're still at the same point. That is human nature. It's strange,
Yeah.
but I've
Yeah.
never been able to stick to learning an instrument properly.
Mm-hmm.
How's the
And
connection?
was
Is it
there,
okay?
it's, I think it's fine for me. It's fine
Great,
for me now. So your fans have
awesome.
joined in. Big fan, Rachel. Keep doing the awesome stuff.
Aha!
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
guys.
hi, Megha. Yes. Megha Rawat is an excellent sitar player. She's,
Ah, lovely.
yeah, she lives in Mumbai and learns from the very great sitar player called Purban Chatterjee. He's doing very well at the
Mm.
moment. Yeah, so lots of musicians joining in from
And you
both the sides,
yourself,
I
my
think.
God, you're such a beautiful singer. And it's so funny when you say, "Oh, I want to have you. I want to interview people who I admire." It's such an honor and it's so flattering because you're amazing.
So thank you, and
Yeah.
so are you. So yeah, so tell me, since 17, when you were 17, you started performing as a professional musician from then. So,
I
how did
mean,
it all happen?
um, so I think it started probably with some friends and myself jamming, and
Mm-hmm.
we kind of we started a band, and then I think we
Wow.
had our first performance at T2F,
Mm-hmm.
and the second floor, Karachi. Sabine Mahmood was,
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
she encouraged us a lot. She would always say, come perform here anytime, you guys, and you guys are awesome. And, people like that who kind of give you that energy and push you forward. And I think the feeling was so great performing with my
Mm-hmm.
friends and being on stage and sharing in that communal energy that it just felt like something I wanted to continue. And then we did Chicago and Mia, the musicals with made for stage
Yeah.
productions, Nida Bhatt, and
Wow.
that was a really magical experience because I really enjoy acting. And
Mm-hmm.
that's combining acting and singing and that live element, and everything's happening there and then. So it's quite a thrill, quite a trip, I think.
So tell me, how's Karachi? I mean, how's Karachi's music? I mean, I have just been to Coke Studio, but other than that, what's the
Hmm.
live music scene like, and what's the theater scene like? And I mean, and I have also seen that a lot of singers are actors, and actors are singers. I mean, which is
Hmm.
how it is supposed to be. But
Hmm.
in this part, it's not like that. You know, there's always a playback element, somebody else singing for uh,
Hmm.
I mean, people on films and stuff. But it's a great quality to have. I mean, when you can
Yeah.
perform, and especially for musicals like Mamma Mia or Chicago, you need to
Hmm.
be able to sing. So, how did
Definitely.
you how would you groom yourself, or did it come naturally to you? How did this all happen?
So the first thing you were asking about shows and stuff in Karachi, I feel कि back in the day uh, इससे बहुत ज़्यादा होती थी. There was a lot of
Acha.
underground shows, a lot of underground bands. I remember, I mean, when I was 17 and in a band and performing, वहाँ पे मतलब 10-15 बैंड होते थे हमारे एज के लोग, and they would be having an amazing time, and the youth would show up from everywhere to come and be
Mm-hmm.
part of that energy. But I think over the years there was some security issues, there was some you know uh, terrorist activities and different things, and people got scared.
Yeah.
I think they felt that art or music was not being supported or didn't feel safe anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Mm-hmm.
died down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
उन दिनों में stage पे भी there was a lot of stuff happening. Um, but yeah, it's really sad, and I hope one day that vibrance comes back. But
Yeah, but
as far as
tell me
grooming,
something. When something like this, when the atmosphere is of fear somewhere, when you are trying to
hmm,
perform, even I have faced that at places, you know. So
of
it's
course,
a
we're not
general
very far
kind.
from each
Yes,
other
we're not
either.
very far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, as a young vocalist who, I mean, then when you were 17, you were aspiring vocalist, what kind of an impact would it have on your mind? Would you like to take up music seriously, or would you think, oh my God, no, this is like, I mean, I'm a bit skeptical because I don't know if this has a future and how much I should invest. I mean,
Hmm.
emotionally, and you know, a musician needs to be quite serious if you're trying to take it as a career. So, what was your
Hmm.
psyche like? I mean, what did you think? And your friends, how did you feel about it? Because you've been there,
Um,
you know.
To be honest, I think everyone reacts differently and everyone has a different way of thinking. I know people who have been ambitious and who have gone full speed ahead with their careers and stuff like that. I feel like I've never been one of those people to really drive things forward. I've sort of gone with the flow. I never thought to myself, okay, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be an actor and I'm going to be a singer and this is what I'm going to do with my life. Um, it sort of just organically happened, and then I kept pushing a little further and something else would come my way and I would enjoy that and I would put my full effort into it, and that's how it would keep panning out. So it kind of just became, it wasn't something I sought or um, drove full speed ahead towards. And then obviously, once you start doing these things, I think it starts to become, you start to get other opportunities.
Right.
And yeah.
So for you, probably this happened. I mean, probably you haven't really, मतलब इतना सोचा नहीं था, मतलब होता गया वो चीजें, अपने आप. Probably it's you had the flair for arts and singing and all these things, and it kind of not very consciously, but it just happened and you went with the flow. Is it like that?
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
More like,
obviously
yeah.
you do seek out opportunities, but what I mean to say is that there are people who really make a full plan.
Yeah.
They decide, okay, I'm going to spend this many hours, I'm
Yes.
going to do this many posts on social media, I'm going to do this many events. Honestly, I've never been a very social media heavy person. I can't do it. I can't share a post every day. I can't, and yeah, I'm very irregular with that. So for that reason, I've never been able to have that um, train on a track mentality. Um, I think for me, it's more about just being able to be creative, to do things that I enjoy. And you were talking about musical theater, like combining acting and singing,
Yeah.
and you were saying
Yeah.
how does one um, get groomed for that? And
Right.
I wish I had classes and stuff growing up for that kind of thing. That would have been amazing. But I think it comes from, again, my mum and my grandmother's thespian spirit. They used to do musicals as well when they were younger. The Christian community used to put on things like Jesus Christ Superstar and उस तरह के
Right.
musicals चलती थी. And we used to actually put on plays on our patio. It
Oh.
used to be, with the kids and the adults, we used to have things like Little Miss Muffet and stuff like that. I don't remember it being a very, very regular thing, but it was there. In fact, Cyrus and Zoe, my siblings, they used to put on makeup and costumes and make sets with TV room cushions, vagera, and they would put on plays
Sweet.
and they would charge
Wow.
my parents entry fees.
Oh my God, that's so incredibly sweet. Oh
Yeah,
God, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So it was kind of a fun activity. I mean, you didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
Abdul,
mean,
I agree with you. I'm just also alongside reading
oh yeah.
these things.
Yes.
Ah,
Wish we could have a cross-border rock festival.
yes,
You're so right, I mean, yeah, let the political people understand these things that art has no boundaries.
I don't understand how art has boundaries. Like, I get that people have political differences, वो तो है. लेकिन I just don't, it should be free flowing. So much of the love that I've received over the years has come from India. A lot
Absolutely.
of the best, most beautiful supporting comments and things have come from Indian fans.
Of course, and people love you in India. I mean, I was talking to my friends. A lot of them have slept off, probably because it's a little late. But I said, yeah, you
They'll catch
can
up
watch the
later.
video. Yeah, we'll catch up later. Maybe we'll do another session, but you can also watch it on IGTV later. But
Hmm.
there's such a craze of Coke Studio in India. I
Hmm.
mean, and they watch everything so minutely, and you featured in so many seasons now, and your solo songs, and everybody kind of. I mean, yeah, you're a star here, so
Oh,
people love
thanks.
you, and obviously you
Cheers.
have a lot of people loving you in Pakistan as well. Even when she is not leading singer, she's always keeps her energy. Yeah, that's also a very valid point. Probably because I don't know. I've seen that you feel the music and you kind of enjoy it
Hmm.
even when you're performing. So that's
Oh, for
something,
sure.
yeah. And so,
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't,
yeah,
I don't, I
so,
think I don't look at it as work. I try to feel invested in, and when you watch the journey of a song from inception to gaining different parts, to different instruments playing, to making backing vocal parts, to putting all of those things together, it's like watching something grow and growing with it. And how can you not have energy with that?
that's
That's the beauty
amazing. I mean,
of live stuff. Yeah, live recordings. It may not be live when it's put out there, but it's recorded live, and that gives you
yeah.
that energy for sure.
Yes, and what was amazing about Coke Studio was that everything was live, even though it's recorded. A lot of people think that, maybe we've mimed. It's not that. Everything is live, and we were all performing. Nothing
Yes.
was, no post dubs happening. Everything was on the spot live, and so yeah, one has to be on their toes to perform the way I mean you do for every episode of every season. So yeah, now that you've mentioned Coke Studio and now you've also been involved in the creative team, part of the
Mhm.
creative team. So how all do you contribute there?
So that was last year, season 12, and it's interesting because I've always wanted to be more involved in the creative process. And this was a role that was newly created. I think we'd never had a creative team before. And this time we had myself, we had Rohail, we had Zara Madani, and we had Sarmad Kapoor. And the four, basically, we would just kind of give ideas and try to move things along and add things to them, which meant that we were listening to things way before even the demo phase. Maybe when
Wow.
something was coming in, or trying to find a nice groove or melody. And of course, the producer would be the one sort of directing everything and pushing everything forward. But it's nice to have extra sets of ears to weigh in on things.
Absolutely. And it's
So
a great
that's pretty
learning
much, yeah.
process, I feel, also for
Oh, yeah.
because I have always been very curious about the production part of a song. I
Mm.
mean, other than singing. So, and I
Mm-hmm.
also feel that as a vocalist, all those little bits of knowledge, it adds up to your singing. I mean,
Mm.
like how you face the mic and how you should throw, or
Mm.
maybe how would you modulate your voice according to a particular song. So these the
Mm.
other things, those add up. So I'm sure you must be quite enriched with all those little, you know. So how was your
Oh, yeah.
experience of doing this last year?
Last year, great. I had actually not done, I hadn't been part of the team in season 11. So this
Mm-hmm.
was a return for me, because up until season 10, I was doing backing vocals and featuring as an artist. Season 11, I did a song, Main
Yeah.
Irada, with Hania.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, who is also an
I
incredible
I loved
musician and
the
artist.
I loved, yeah, of course she was here also on one of the episodes of Women of the
I'm gonna go back and
Subcontinent.
watch it.
Yeah, and she was incredibly sweet, and however we had a bad connection, so we couldn't see her properly.
Mm.
And it was a birthday, and she was so sweet, singing all the
Ah,
songs that everybody requested. So she's
amazing.
a
So
darling. She's a
talented.
sweetheart. Yeah, very talented and very humble, and I just love her.
Heart of gold. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking about your song Ki Damda Bharosa. Oh my God. I was mind blown when I heard it. I said, oh
Mm.
my God, Rachel, this is her. And what energy. My God. I mean, tell me about it. How did that happen? I was like, oh my God, you surprised me. And it's
Oh
amazing.
my.
Yeah.
I surprised myself, to be honest. It was
Yeah.
so I remember Shiraz Uppal, right? He was doing this song and they were looking for a vocalist. And I mean, forgive me, my knowledge of Eastern music is very, very limited. I only started listening to Eastern music with Coke Studios. Se pehle,
Mm-hmm.
my exposure was mostly Western.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
hadn't heard this song before. I hadn't heard the original, and I listened to it and I started working on it. And then we were put in touch, Shiraz Bhai and myself. And I said, do you want me to come to Lahore and work on this? He said, I needed you here yesterday. I was like, what? Okay, I just heard the song yesterday. So maybe I'll get on a flight tomorrow and come to you. And we recorded the demo the next day in Lahore. And it was
Wow.
terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying because so I went from day one listening to the song to day two saying the word chagde. chagde like 40 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
literally,
Oh
I
my
think,
God.
but because I don't, minu Punjabi nahi aandi, but I had, I had to, I remember calling people and saying, how do you say this line? Explain the pronunciation to me, please. And, working on it. And then we went and we recorded this demo in just a matter of a couple of hours. And obviously, that's also a tribute to the producer, right?
Of
Shiraz
course,
bhai,
yeah.
he just had everything together. He had Kashif's parts already. He's like, okay, here's the music for the stuff for the female part. Go wild, figure it out. Here's the part where I want you to make an improv section. Figure it out. And they fed me. They gave me tea. They were very welcoming and warm. And they just. I remember I was so shy. I was like, could I have this room for just a little while to figure my stuff out? And I sat there at the computer and I pressed record. I'm like, okay, this line, stop recording. And then a while later, they come through the door and they're like, oh, that was great. I was like, you were listening from outside? So then,
Yeah.
yeah, that was it. And then I just kept working on my pronunciation and all until the actual recording day. And I was very nervous about the Punjabis hating me
Yeah.
for messing up the words. But I didn't, for someone who
What
doesn't speak it,
energy.
apparently I didn't do too bad a
Yeah.
job. And I just brought my character to it, the, musical theater character, to try and
That shows, yeah.
personify, what the song was about and what she's saying. I think that's the most important thing.
That was amazing. And,
Thank you
when
so much.
after I heard your rendition of the song, I went back and I heard the original, which was the older version. And I felt that it was completely, I mean, although the composition was the same, but the way you have sung it, your version, and that was
Mm.
completely different. So how would you
Hmm.
perceive like a song can be sung, in this manner? So that was something I was very curious about, and I wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
like, what made you think that okay, or it just the production which was already done, and when you sang, you started feeling that yeah, I should take this route,
Hmm.
and it's working for me.
So,
What was it?
the music was already there, right? It was this beautiful bed of music with Kashif's angelic vocals already there. And he's like, okay, I want this different personality to come out. And the key was something I struggled with. I found it either too high or too low. And then the suggestion was, why don't you try both octaves? Right? So all the way down then.
Yeah,
So then I was like,
I
okay,
know.
neither is great for me vocally, but then I guess the juxtaposition of those two things worked well together to give it more
And that's very
of a dynamic
difficult.
feel. Yeah.
It's very difficult to sing. I mean, live, when you just have to hit from the lower notes and just go, and maybe somewhere you had used like you just went for it, and on the higher register you're like crazy. Oh my God!
Yeah.
And how wonderful! I was like, oh my God, this is like, oh, beautiful. So yeah, this
Thank you.
so and how did you feel? I mean, after you sang it, what was the feeling and the feedbacks? I mean, that was your first solo feature, right, on Coke Studio?
No, actually, that
No?
was my second. Second.
Oh, that was your
Yeah.
second.
hmm
Okay.
the first
So,
one was in season five, Nedea.
okay, I have to check that out. I
Yeah.
have to
So
check that out. Okay.
Nedea was also coincidentally Punjabi, and that was my first feature on Coke Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And Ki Damda was the second one. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And
And
I felt relieved. I felt
mm-hmm.
grateful at the end of it. Relieved that, you know, I'd been able to give it as much as I could and do my best to contribute creatively to it. And
Mm-hmm.
grateful to have had that opportunity and to have had such a beautiful thing to work on. Um, yeah, it
Amazing.
was
And yeah, I
it
think
was
that song
fun.
was very special. I mean, I always knew you were a good singer. I mean, your pickup and everything is so fast, like, absolutely professional and great. My experience of working with you was absolutely amazing. But when I saw you
And you.
performing there, thank you. So it's a mutual admiration, I guess. But having said that, when I heard you live, I was like, really, oh God! So the vocal range and the energy, and I think one of the very important things that you said is your stage acting. Probably, it kind of, yeah, it makes you more liberated when
Hmm.
probably you perform, you forget, and you're just performing there. Uh,
You can get into a
Probably,
character. Yeah.
yeah. And that's why as an audience, as audiences, it appeals to us in a much deeper manner than anybody
Hmm.
just singing and standing and singing there, right? So
Hmm.
tell me something about, I mean, how did you get into like serious acting later? Like now you've been doing films.
Um, funnily enough, the serious acting, I believe, was when I was 17 and 19 doing those musicals on
Oh,
stage. I mean, this was like working on films and stuff was a great experience. It was a new experience. It had its own challenges, but as far as acting is concerned, like the kind of characters that I had to play previously on stage, and the having to do it live, and having to deal with something going wrong and having to improvise and all of those things, it just doesn't compare. Um, this was a different challenge. It's like, okay, now I have to go and do this take like 5 times and give it the same authenticity that I did the first time, or maybe more when you do film. So
yeah.
it's interesting. They both have their own challenges, and in 2012 I went to New York and I did a 6 week workshop in musical theater at a place
Okay.
called Cap 21. And I can imagine that if I had done like even 2 or 4 years of that, I would have loved it. But I did 6 weeks and it was great.
So do you
um,
think it added up to your performance
Definitely.
as an art, performing artist? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it did.
You learn new things or new ways to channel what it is. But I think with acting, the most important thing is drawing from your own experience of life and emotionality, and then expanding on that. And that's how I probably approach songs as well. There's always the character. What is the character saying? What are they trying to convey? What are they feeling? And what are their needs? What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths?
Yeah. So because I have seen you doing different, even if it was there were backing vocals, I have seen you doing different styles. Okay,
Oh my
sometimes
God, best
sargam.
Velma Kelly. Someone's actually saw Chicago. Sorry, go on.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I guess
So
they did. From back then, like,
yes,
yeah, I was 17,
wow.
I'm 30 now.
But yeah, that's the
Crazy.
magic of art. Like if you do something good, people remember it throughout their lives, right? So when you go on stage and do something, you've created it. Like it'll be there,
Mm.
like on the archives, it's there. So
And
yeah,
you
that's what
also got into character. I remember you singing Kinare and all, and getting into that feel. I think you have that
Kinare.
sensitive artist side of acting and getting into the role.
No, acting, I can't act to save my life. My
Actually,
God, I can't.
it's funny they call it acting when really they should call it authenticity. The more authentic you
Yeah.
can be, the better a role you're performing. And that's what I mean by that is when you were singing, I could feel it and you were in
Yeah.
that zone.
Yeah, I was completely, it was, and I felt that day something was there. I mean, everybody was so much in,
Mm,
tune, and everything was so nice. I mean, you just close your eyes, everything was perfect,
mm,
and you're enjoying yourself. So, yeah, it's completely, but I feel as studio artists, we are always concentrating on the singing part and not so much on how to express yourself. Physically also while
mm,
singing, like you've
mm,
done, like how you do it. And Indian classical is music is more of a meditative zone. There's not much of acting, scope of acting or kind of feeling. You can feel, but you can't really act. But whereas if you're
Hmm.
singing Bollywood songs over here, you need to kind of really, on stage, you really need to be an entertainer and
Hmm.
do that. So, yeah, which I really need to kind of work on. That's why I
Hmm.
don't do much Bollywood songs that much. But yeah, for Mikalasan band, it was very easy. I just had to stand and sing, so nothing to concentrate on the singing. So yeah, I was authentic. That is true. But I
Hmm.
envy
And that goes a long way.
artists. Yeah, but I envy artists who can also do it. I mean, when I watch the Western uh, singers, Beyonce and everybody, like going out there and keeping the voice like,
I can't
oh
do
my
that. I
God,
can't do that. Oh my
that's
God. That's a different
impossible.
level, Sharmistha. That's a different level where
Oh
they're
God.
dancing around and jumping on stage and they've got the
Yeah,
and she's still keeping this amazing voice. Wow, that's a different level. And real
that's
musical theater stage performers, they are beasts. I mean, wow. Like
yeah.
they can do anything and still have this beautiful voice. They can be hanging upside down and in the middle of a death scene, but still have a, perfect voice. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Uh,
different skill set, I
they're
think. But
athletes. They're athletes,
true, true.
artistic athletes.
Because
Yeah.
because if I felt that if I was jumping around the stage, oh my God, I lose out of breath. If I'm not constantly like, exercising and doing all of those things. So everything is interrelated, but somewhere probably you have to find what is authentic for you. I mean,
Mm.
instead of kind of. So yeah, for you particularly, I feel your acting and singing has merged somewhere, and it has become one. So you don't consciously think if you're actually performing or singing. It's almost the same. The approach is kind of the same for you. Am I right?
Mm. Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm in it authentically and I'm not
Hmm.
caught up in my head and thinking to myself, oh, my voice isn't warmed up, oh, I sound like crap, oh, I'm who's listening. If I'm not stuck in that headspace, then definitely I'm embodying that, character.
So tell me another thing I'm very curious in knowing is that you've done a lot of different vocal styles since you are not from a Eastern music background. But I have seen you singing a lot of things which are difficult things to sing, even in as a backing vocalist. How do you make your voice so versatile? What is your approach? How do you practice? How do you go for it? Like,
Mm. Uh, I think it's about being a chameleon. I think mimicry,
hmm?
and just sort of flowing with a voice. I think, see, people say for a backing vocalist, but honestly, backing vocals, being a backing vocalist is much harder than being a
Absolutely, I
front man,
totally
front
agree.
woman. Um, but the main thing is, I think, to hear the voice that is singing and to merge with it and complement it, to try and get the same tonalities, or if it's a contrasting tonality, how is it holding that up? Um, and I think just trying different things, experimentation.
Hmm.
And I think we were very fortunate. Sorry, I'm cracking my knuckles. I don't know if you can hear it.
Never mind, never
Um,
mind.
but we've been fortunate to have the creative freedom when making backing vocal parts to sit at a system with your tracks, your demos, and actually create and record parts and try different things. And oh, that sounds great. Let's keep it. Okay, that doesn't sound so good. Let's delete it. So then you keep trying different things. And when you try different things, you come up with different ideas. You tackle different styles. And sometimes it does mean working on something like, um, if we're a group of three or four backing vocalists, sometimes one person will have something down like that, and the other person is sort of working on it, and they'll actually ask that other person for help. So I'd turn to Shahab and Nimran and be like, okay, correct my pronunciation, help me with this murki or whatever, and then I'd have to break it down really slow and then eventually speed it up. But I can't do murkis, I can't do Eastern classical. I can
Right.
change tonalities, I can work in different pitches, but I can't be super fast like that. I wish. Um, and then you'll have someone who's, more in a Western style, and then something is easier for them. And then we'd also allocate parts accordingly. Like, for example, if it's a really high note, I'd give it to someone who's got a higher register. I'd be like, okay, you need to take this. Or if it's really low, okay, maybe you take that. Or we'd sort of um, divide parts up based on what works for which person. Yeah.
Right. And regarding, because Pakistan also is diverse in terms of languages, I've seen many different languages being sung there.
Mm.
So that's also something that one has to be kind of very,
And that's
you
amazing.
just,
Yeah.
and it sounds so amazing. I mean, when you sing it, I mean, if it's a Dari or Pashto
Mm.
or something, or Punjabi, or I mean, different languages. I mean,
Mm.
the I feel it's one of the strongest backing vocal set that I've seen in this
Mm.
part of live, music,
Mm.
recordings, and it blends so beautifully. It's not over the top.
Mm.
It has its own. I mean, like you said, it's a skilled art form. It's not easy. I mean, people think
Mm.
that okay, backing vocal is maybe it's chorus, or yeah,
They think you
yeah,
graduate from backing
to
vocals
a
to main vocals, but that's like, it's completely different.
yeah,
Um,
it's completely different. And
yeah.
not this is something I also I mean, it's great that we are talking about this. It's not that a solo vocalist is great and backing vocalists are not at par, and there's some kind of a, like you rightfully said that it would be an upgradation. These are two music formats, vocal formats,
Mm.
which exist. Neither
Mm.
is better than the other,
Mm.
right?
For
And
sure.
one needs a lot of skill to be able. So tell me something that when there have been different vocalists, right, in a group when you sing, and especially I think because you've grown up singing in church, like the choir. Has that helped you to kind of, was it a grooming session for you when you went for professional recordings later, or when you have different
Um,
people, different voices coming in,
hmm.
how long does it take for you to kind of get comfortable so you sound like one voice? How does that happen?
Hmm. So yes, it probably did contribute, but I think what probably contributed even more was, as I was telling you before, my mom and her friends, when they would sing together, some people would take harmonies and some people would sing the main melody, and there would just be this chorus of voices and different vibratos, and it would, no one was trying to necessarily match anyone, but the combination of all these different voices was beautiful. And I think even if you have different tones, different vibrato, different husk in your voice, if everyone is, uh, अगर सब सुर में है,
Huh.
you know, if everyone's within the same scale of the song, if everyone's got the same vibe, it's gonna come together. And it's gonna work well. It's like
Right.
a recipe when you're cooking something. There are certain ingredients that will all form together to make something good, or it just won't work, depending on how they complement each other.
So have you ever taken a vocal training in music?
I tried a couple of months of Eastern classical, but I didn't get very far, and I had to, yeah, I got busy with different things, and then I was constantly trying to find the right teacher who would understand my voice, but that's really tricky.
That's tricky,
It's tricky
right?
to find the right, yeah, person. But you know what? I'm also happy that I never got completely trained, because um, I think as you get older and as you experience more, you realize how much you have to unlearn as a human being in order to
Very
go in
true.
any direction that you want to go. And to maybe that's the secret of being a good backing vocalist, is not having too much training in one specific type of singing. Is to be able to be open to doing different styles.
Yeah. And you also learn on job and learn through,
Yes,
you know, your
100%.
experiences. Yeah. So that also contributes to it. So it's just a
And
general question. Yeah. Tell me, tell me.
you were talking about the different languages, and our subcontinent is so rich in so many different languages. It's beautiful, right? And how can that not affect you? So obviously, when there's so many different sounds in the cultures around you, I think we as for example, I think it would be easier for us in the subcontinent to learn any language like French or German or Japanese or whatever, because we have so many sounds
Right,
that are
right, right.
similar to different languages. Urdu, Hindi alone, they have so many languages combined to make those languages.
So
Um,
true.
yeah.
So, for me, because I've
Hmm.
also been a recording artist and a session artist here. So I used to sing a lot of, a jingle used to be dubbed in several languages, almost 10, 12 languages, Indian languages, which included Tamil and Telugu and Malayalam and Gujarati and Marathi and Bengali and, Oriya and different languages. So
Hmm.
initially, and there would be a supervisor who would come, and there would be a whole day of a language session where you have to just write down 2 lines of those jingles, and they'll tell you exactly how to pronounce it and sing. So, and
Hmm.
I would do that regularly as a job. But when I joined Mikal's band and I was asked to sing Punjabi, I just felt
Hmm.
how that experience had come handy. I mean, because
Hmm.
I
For
was
sure.
I was completely, and you have to do those language sessions so quickly. Like they don't have time. I mean, okay, you now
Hmm.
the next male artist is going to do this, so okay, 20 minutes for you, and like that. So you develop a flair on job, and then somewhere else it comes very handy. So I think that's another thing, and it's not really, do I know those languages? Can I speak in those languages? No, but you were right when you said that probably you just hear and you mimic.
Exposure. Exposure.
Yeah.
Mimicry. Yeah, for sure. And you have that
So
as part of you from the time you're a child, right? You have to mimic your
yeah,
parents, adults around you to learn the language, to learn how to behave, to learn how to take care of yourself, how to eat, everything.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so you can use that. And that's how we learn anything, really, is our ability to mimic that we have since the time of birth.
Yeah, and it's so amazing. In fact, the subcontinent and Central Asia and all the languages there, I mean, even if you see Urdu and Bengali, or, I mean, there is something common from somewhere that you've heard in either Pakistan or in Central Asia or in Turkey or, in Delhi or in Rajasthan. So there's some commonality, but at the same time, it's diverse and it's different. So I feel the entire history of this. I mean, I don't know how the evolution of languages and how they all came together, but the sound of it, and I think the diversity also kind of adds to the beauty.
Mm,
And there's so much.
definitely. 100%.
Don't you think so?
100%. Yes,
So
100%. I'm a definite believer in the more things, the more ways of thinking, the more ways of living you can expose yourself to, the more types of art that are different from you, just the better a human being you will be, more exposed and, more rich in what you bring to your life. Um,
yeah,
One should never get stuck in anything.
yeah.
I say that.
So
I wish I could get stuck in something. What is it? Jill of all trades, master of none.
yeah, I know, I know. Sometimes I also tell that to myself, but yeah. We
Yeah.
also say jack of all trades, master of none.
Hmm.
No?
Mm-hmm.
And oh,
Yeah, I've
you just
always
said
said
Jill of
Jack.
all trades.
I've always said jack of all trades, but recently I saw someone say Jill, and I was like, why do I keep saying jack of all trades when I would rather say Jill of all trades?
Yeah, because Jack
So
and Jill went up the hill. So
to fetch a
probably.
pail of water. Oh God.
Oh God, that was so funny. But anyway, tell me, as a woman musician, what were the pros and cons of singing in the industry that you had? And I mean, how was it? And not just the industry, generally. I mean, what do you think the pros and cons of singing, of being a woman artist, like
In the subcontinent?
performance? Yes, yes.
I I think it's a mixed bag. It's interesting because you have some major disadvantages and you have some major advantages. On the disadvantages side is constantly being under scrutiny, having to worry about what you're wearing, how you're looking, what you're saying, how people are perceiving you, and very easily being criticized for just being open and being yourself. Um, Sometimes it's very easy to offend people as a woman in the subcontinent. At the same time, if you are a confident, artistic person, a woman in the subcontinent, it's easier for you to get noticed than it is for a man, I feel. I mean, I could be wrong, but this is just my opinion that because you don't have as many outgoing, expressive women, and I'm glad to see more and more coming out and showing up and expressing themselves. It is easier to make a name for yourself if you're noticed. It is easier to kind of, um, I don't know, stand out. But at the same time, it's a little too easy to stand out and be criticized or be judged. And unfortunately, if you're judged a certain way, then that label sticks with you, and then, that's you for the rest of time, and which is pretty awful.
Yeah, I
But
know. I
it's
understand
a
that.
mixed
Yeah.
bag. It's a mixed bag. I think there are things you can take advantage of, and there are things you have to watch out for.
So has it how has your personal journey been? Was it like it was it a mixed bag, or was it like sometimes difficult, or sometimes how was the working life like
Hmm.
so far, being a woman?
Mixed bag, but I've been very, 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 very fortunate. Thank all that is good in this universe. Thank God. Thank you to all the people who have um, protected me from a lot of things or been a positive influence. Um, So I haven't had the mindset of, as I said, being constantly driving towards being famous or trying to do a specific thing or being ambitious in a particular direction. Like, okay, I want to have this many albums and this many fans and this. I've not been like that, which is why I suppose I've been shielded from a lot of things. Whatever work I have done has usually been based on wanting to be involved in something or I've been fortunate to get to work with people who have respected me as a human being, you know,
Right.
and and fortunate enough to be raised in a way to know that I can stand up for myself. If someone is being a creep, I'll call them out to their face, and I've done it,
That's
even
amazing.
on
That's
set.
amazing.
And you have to, and when you do, then they crawl back into their shell and they feel ashamed of themselves because yeah, and I tell anyone, if you see a creep or someone's acting creepy, call them out. Because that's the only way to change that culture is to make people accountable for their
True.
behavior.
Very true. That's very true. I agree with you. And I hope more and more people feel that courage to kind of speak for themselves. I mean, which a lot of women can't. They're scared that probably they'll, lose out on things and all. When that weakness is taken advantage of a lot of times. So one of the reasons I asked you is that maybe somebody somewhere can get inspired by what
And I'm
someone
sure I
like
had
you
a lot
has.
of
And yeah.
close calls. Yeah, Sharmistha, as I say, I'm counting my lucky stars because there are a lot of times when a situation could have gone wrong or, it could have been a dangerous situation, but I've been lucky to have good people around me and to have,
Right.
the feeling that I, owe myself respect and I can stand up for myself. And I
That's
think
great,
that's,
actually.
yeah. So
Yeah,
tell
that's
me,
been great.
Sharmistha, what have you got up to in these in this COVIDial time? I mean, have you picked up any new hobbies other than singing?
Yeah, so I've started playing the guitar a bit, and
Amazing.
I really wanted to pick up like one instrument. Like just I can barely play the harmonium, which I have not played in like at almost like
Hmm.
in 10 years. So I thought, but I love guitars, and I thought it would help me to kind of, think and write songs, and I love harmonies, and so I
Mm.
just wanted to. But my God, that's everything needs so much of dedication and regularity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. It's not easy. So yeah, I'm on at it, and other than that, I've been, with the women of the subcontinent. My plan was initially to kind of get the sessions and write a blog on every artist, and eventually,
Mm.
you never know. I mean, where it goes and how. Maybe one day we are going to collaborate live or do something
I would love that.
somewhere outside, something amazing. You never know. So I was just collecting kind of stories and trying to write them down. So that
Mm.
has kept me going, and yeah. So, and writing is something that I've started enjoying, and so it's more now
Writing is
music
great.
has, yeah, I love to write generally also. I mean, other than writing songs, I generally like to write. So I've been doing that as well. So yeah, it's never been for artists like us. We live in quarantine. I mean, I've been living. I don't go out that much, so there's something or the other I keep doing. So yeah, it wasn't
Mm.
that difficult, but yeah, I just hope I can play the guitar well and accompany myself. So that's something that I'd really like to do. So you have a song coming up this season for Coke Studio?
Um,
No?
Honestly, I'm not even sure what's happening right now with Coke Studios. This is the
Okay.
furthest I've been from Coke Studio in 10
Mm-hmm.
years. um,
Wow.
I keep hearing that they're going ahead with the season, and then I hear that it's cancelled, and I mean, I'm
Okay.
not sure. Someone's asking if I can read and write Hindi. Hindi nahi, lekin I can read and write Urdu.
Urdu. Yeah.
Pace is a little slow, but yes. Um, yeah, I've been pretty far away from everything. I'm just kind of finding my place here and figuring out, what I want to do. Also taking a break from things, finding new hobbies. I've started growing some plants.
That is
Just
amazing. And I have
um,
loved that part of you that stood for I mean, I remember you've been very actively supporting the cause of no plastics at one point of time, and
trying, trying.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I really liked that fact. So Rachel,
Hmm.
our time has almost come to an end,
Yes.
and it's just going to be like 1 minute. Would you like to sing
I'd just like
something,
to
just two
say,
lines, or
I'd just
anything that
like
you'd
to
like to
say,
say?
I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's joined us today. I know a lot of people will probably catch up with this later, and I probably sound all over the place, but that's how live things are. And I just want to say thank you guys for joining us and for all the support. And I would like to respond to all these messages, and I'm thinking maybe I can do that later on. I can um, respond to them on the video when it's up.
Individually, yeah.
Yes. And
Yes.
yeah,
And I want to
I
tell
just want
you, thank you
to,
so much for waking up and giving me the time. It was lovely
not at
catching
all.
up with you
Stop,
after
stop.
like,
It's
wow,
embarrassing.
after
I stay up
after
so late and I wake up so late.
oh, I'm there in your group, so no worries. It's just the time difference that we are struggling with. But Rachel, it was so much fun to have you today, and thank you
Amazing. Thank
for
you for
your
having me.
time. Yeah, we'll definitely do another session sometime, and
And
where
again,
you and I
I don't know if I've
just
stressed it enough, but it's such an honor that, you've called me to have this conversation with you because I think you're an absolutely incredible singer. Like your skill is out of this world.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, much love to everyone. And guys, grow
Yes.
indoor plants, and trust me, it'll make you happier.
Awesome. Okay, on that note,
Mm,
have a nice day and lots of
yes,
loves, love and
lots of
kisses.
love. Have an
Bye,
awesome day.
Rachel. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.